What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Wizards War Room. We're joined here by head coach, the Prince George Kodiaks, Jamie Boreham, formerly head coach, the Okanagan's son, had a pretty extensive CFL career. So it's an honor that you're taking time to come on and talk to the Wizard because didn't think we'd be in this position talking to guys that, have the prestigious background in Canadian football as you. So we appreciate you coming on. But
Mm.
first, let's just keep it simple. Talk about how the offseason has been for the Kodiaks and what you could expect. We're about just under a month out from the season. How do you feel your team's going to do this year?
Yeah, it's crazy how fast things go. An off season, you get through winter and into spring, and all of a sudden we're playing football here. So we're getting guys in town. We've had a real good off season. We got some nice facilities here at the university. So winter training turns to indoor, and one of the local gyms is our gym sponsor, X Conditioning there, and it's fantastic to work out of there. They have some top power lifters in the country that train out of there too. So some advantages with that. And then we do a few other things. We start a little wrestling program for our guys to, a little bit beat each other up and a little bit learn how to some hand-to-hand combat things. So off season's been great. Our guys have busted their butt. We've been 4 or 5 days a week for our in-town guys. Our out-of-town guys get the support that they need from online programs that we deliver through our communications. So you know what? We're different this year. I think for the first what is it? What that 3 years the program's been around, we've been on the young side as a team, and so this is the first year that as a program we're more so on the older side. So we have more 20 to 22 year olds than we do have on the younger side. So hoping that that continuity of players and coaches breeds that consistency that we need on the field. And hopefully, if we've done it right over the last season learning and the off season, that we continue those things that we learned last year, and then we can get a good start to the season. So expecting big things. We got some returning older players, right? Sawyer Teason's back in his fifth year. We got a veteran receiving core. We really only have to replace four people from starting positions from last year. So it sets us up in a good position to give ourselves a good chance here. And training camp's going to be awesome. Get guys out there and see how fast we can grow and put things together as a program. So excited. Yeah, about a week away. We start on the first, so it's time's going to tell real quick here.
Yeah, yeah, like what you said about you have a lot of returning guys, and that's one thing I kind of noticed when compiling the top 100 list that I'm not sure when gonna release this episode, but we're still pretty early on. I noticed you got a ton of returning guys, so I'd imagine that that's able to help build your program, being a new program. Actually, talking to the head coach of the Sioux, they're kind of similar view. They're talking about the idea of getting the boys in slowly growing, and then eventually by like year 4 or 5, they're ready to compete, which sounds like what you guys are about to do here. So one thing that's always been on my mind is that Prince George is far away from every other community that you guys go up against. I think you guys are as close to Edmonton as you are to the next BC team. Do you view that more as like a strength that you have a whole area to recruit from, or a disadvantage because players know they're going to have long travel on about 5 games of the year?
So I think having traveled multiple ways through like junior, university, and pro, um, you learn, right? And so as coaches, it's our responsibility to take what we've learned and pass it on to the next generation of people. And um, it's not about trying to get somewhere fast. It's about setting these guys up to have their best travel so they can prepare and mentally play properly. So is it a tough travel? Sure, it is. It's also a tough travel for people to come up here. It's also a tough time for people to come here and have to deal with our crowd on their sideline. So there's some advantages to it for sure. Disadvantages, you know what? If we learn how to travel and we talk about it and plan about it, and we have pit stops along the way, and it's good. It's good team bonding. It's really good team bonding. Having bus rides. I remember being at the University of Manitoba, and we'd bus to Regina or I don't know different places, and I sure you got on a bus. and what I don't know, but buses always kind of suck. It doesn't matter if it's 3 hours, doesn't matter if it's 5 hours. So, but it's the time on the bus with the people that the those travel rosters, those become the core of your team, and they can really do a good job at pulling the team together. Because things get tough in the season. Doesn't matter if you're having a good one or a bad one. There's always some ups and downs. So strengthening the community on the bus, strengthening our program. I think I think those are some advantages that we gain from those long experiences. So we're breaking our travel up a little bit differently this year. We had some good ones last year. So we'll see how this travel works. Different plan that hopefully it sets our guys up just a little bit better on timing. I think we had some season schedules that changed after we had established our travel schedule. So it put us in some tough spots sometimes. But this year looks pretty good. We're excited. And yeah, I know the guys are looking forward to it too. And it's nice to get a long bus drive out of the way early because just good things happen on the road there.
Yeah, I agree with that. Back when I played in high school, I was like getting the road games all the way first. But so you mentioned your quarterback, Sawyer Thiessen. I mean, he's one of the best in the entire CJFL. What kind of season do you expect out of him? I know in years past you guys have had a lot of weapons, decent run game, but kind of, protecting the quarterback's kind of been, not I don't want to say a weakness, but more of an issue. How have you addressed that in the offseason? What can you expect out of your quarterback and that, pretty loaded receiving core?
Yeah, you know what? I don't think it's bad in calling a spade a spade. So our protection hasn't been the best, um, but I think the continuity this year that's going to help. We lose one guy from the starting group last year, but I think the offseason stuff that we've done as coaches and players, just cleaning up some of the blocking schematics and simplifying jobs. So um, I think when players are guessing, it applies to more than the offensive line. If you're guessing when you're playing, you're probably doing the wrong thing. So simplifying things so we understand like where I'm blocking, why I'm going there, simplify the calls, everyone on the same page type stuff. And that's been our biggest focus this year has been make sure we're on the same page. And so far we've had the last month of 2-3 days of practice outside, and guys are cleaning things up. So I think we'll see a much improved offensive line, and I think you'll see a more cohesive unit working together as well.
Yeah, so and then moving over to the defensive side, I mean, I, I'm not too familiar with every player on the defense, but from my perspective, I thought you guys had, pretty decent defensive line. I mean, uh you got Glenn Falkowski coming back, you got a couple sack leaders coming back that, were lighting up the stat sheets the past couple of years. What can you expect out of your defense this season?
I think it kind of sticks with our everyone's getting older. We had a good start to last year, um, and then we got injured, and we were going through a leadership transition that needed to happen for us to take the steps we needed to. And having players that you're hoping are going to be leaders, not able to play and not able to practice, it makes it tougher for them to take those roles on. So about 3/4 of the way through the year, we figured our stuff out, and I think I think our team changed drastically. Sideline feel, sideline energy, how things happen, how things need to happen. Um, we started to execute game plans more proficiently than we had ever before. And guys grasped the idea of what's my job? I need to do my job. And if I do my job, you do your job. Maybe we can put this together on a play and be successful. Because I don't know, games made up of, I don't know, our film is 158 plays or 160 some odd plays. Maybe if there's a bunch of penalties, there's a whole bunch more. But yeah, we changed the direction of our team, and that was the players. The players understood jobs, and they started being more accountable to what they need to do. So in terms of defensive line, like we're old, right? I think all of our linemen are going to be 20 or 21. So it's nice because they got an opportunity to play 2 more years. I think we'll see some of them move on to university after this year, though. So, linebacker wise, our middle linebacker at the end of last year, like he was a transition player for us. He came here as an offensive lineman, moved to a defensive lineman, and I said, "Hey, Crow, I think if you want to play next level football, I think we need to move you to linebacker." So he trusted in the process, and being honest, it didn't work that well for us right away. It paid dividends toward the end of the year when he, started to understand his job more thoroughly, and that also put him in a position to lead and be a middle linebacker that you need out there. And since then, he stayed out here in the off season, so he's had an amazing uh, off season of training and focusing on things he needs to do to be the best football player he can be. So we're looking for big things from Crow as well. So secondary, Peyton Breer's back, Taman Pittock's back. We're a healthy bunch of guys. We got Aiden Leslie. He's returning after a little injury he had last year. So we've also brought in a couple of UK guys, and they're looking good on the field here. So we'll see what happens when we get everyone on the field and firing full cylinders, put pads on, and start smacking each other. But we're a veteran crew. We need to replace a starting corner. And so I'm hoping that we can gel quickly and that they can uh, take little successes and grow with them early and often.
Yeah, well said. I like what you said. You guys are, a little older. You got a lot of crafty veterans on the team, so it'll be interesting to see come once the ball's snapped and it's kicked off, because I know the Kodiak's been one of the more interesting teams that I've liked covering personally. There's always a lot of good storylines, and I think having the North up there is pretty interesting. So I guess you already touched on some of the players, so I'll move on. You talked about you got some UK players coming in. How has that kind of changed the landscape of the CJFL with these international guys? I know teams everywhere are picking up players from the UK, from Germany, all over the place. Like, how does that affect your recruiting?
Yeah, I don't know if it affects. I like the idea of bringing in players from other places. I think it helps grow the game. Same model that the CFL's has right now, currently with its global players. Um, but playing Canadian football, people haven't played Canadian football. So whether you played American or you play, even our BC kids, our BC high school kids, they play American football. There's an adjustment from American football to Canadian football. So depending on the level, it's a transition to change the game that you're playing to move that into three down Canadian football. So everyone's different. When I talk about the high school players, I say, hey, listen, like I don't know how long it's going to take you to figure out the difference of how fast this game happens at junior football. And guys come here and they're like, whoa, like that's a lot different than what I thought it was. Well, that's what it's supposed to be. If a high school kid came here and be like, oh man, this is easy, maybe we're not doing it right. So it's been nice. Like that's the feedback we're getting about that. And the UK guys and our American that we have here, Marcel, they've been here for a couple weeks now, and like they're working through it. It's a process, right? And part of the process is learning our system. Another part of it is learning the space that exists on the field and then working with the players. And, you know, it, it it's a little bit different, maybe even more than a little bit different, right? Having that extra player on the field and how that changes systems and dynamics and what people are trying to do. So I like getting our guys here early. It gives us time to work through the process with them and help transition them to be successful players. And sometimes you get it right, and sometimes you get it wrong. Um, but end of the day, like we're here to coach our players, and I'm going to recruit a player to come here, and I'm not going to recruit a player to come here and for me to cut them. My job as a coach is to develop players and at some point in their career with us, set them up in a position that they can be a starter for us. And if guys buy into the process and they buy into the off-season training, we give them year after year. It's guys come to this team, and if they don't want to buy into off-season training and team lifts and team runs, well, maybe that's just not the right person. So when we recruit people, we recruit fit, and your fit is different than my fit and someone else's fit. And There's more to it than just football, and I think too many people um, don't focus on it or don't even pay attention to it. Granted, I did the same thing when I was young. I went to UBC right out of high school, played a whole bunch of football, but just didn't like my situation. Coach Dobie at the University of Manitoba, he recruited me multiple times, and I said no a bunch of times. And then in my last time, we talked about fit, and I started to understand what he meant by fit. And fit meant school, it meant life, it meant work, it meant friends, it meant football. And at the end of the day, if you're a good football player, you're gonna have a good football opportunity, and that's everywhere. So there's always football opportunities. There's not always the right fit for you and how you grow. So when we talk about the UK kids and international guys, it's about, is this the right fit? Is this the right time for you? Are they ready to be here? And we try and make sure that athletically and football wise, they're ready and able to go. And at the same time, we want to make sure that they're mature enough to understand, if this isn't the easiest thing, and to be, half the world away from home, there's some stresses and some maybe anxiety and things that just make that difficult. So we're here to support them. We have different off-field programs, from jobs and housing and team moms and counseling and all that to help players through the process. So yeah, we're excited about our new guys here, and they've been fitting in with the group. So we'll see what happens here in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, that was very well said. Like I can't really imagine guys moving halfway around the world to play football. Obviously, quite a difficult transition. So it's good to hear that, your teams are, taking care of their guys because it must be tough. And I wasn't gonna mention this, but I guess people are listening. What I really like about players is hearing the growth and development in the off season. I love guys like I know so many guys that came into the CGFL, maybe weren't, super well regarded, like lightly recruited out of high school, and then they turn into absolute studs through put in the work. So when I hear stories like that, that's where their stock really rises. So I just got one final question for you, Coach. You played in the CGFL, he played in the CFL, you played U Sports. I know for some people it's a natural stepping stone. Like everyone's at different levels. Not everyone needs to consider junior. Not everyone needs to play 5 years. Every situation's different. But what would be your advice to, I guess, high school players and why they should consider joining the CJFL?
Hey, that's a great question. I wish more coaches advocated for the route of junior football for players. For the majority of players, university, there's a lot of kids that can go to university and be on a university football team, but that doesn't mean you're going to play. And this is fit and timing and development and where people are. So, in the right program, you're going to have the opportunity to mature as a young man, grow in your field of interest, whether career or school, whatever you're looking to do. And that helps you mature as a person, which also potentially, no, it doesn't potentially, it helps you be more prepared to be away from home and deal with the stresses of life away at university and the hardships of football, because it's hard, right? If football was easy, everyone would do it. So junior football is a great opportunity for all players to grow, to develop. Um, hey, I went to university right out of high school. I got it wrong. It wasn't my best fit. It was a great program, great guys that I still in contact with today, but that wasn't my best fit. And from there, I actually went to go work in a kitchen. I was working at Cactus Club, working in the kitchen and cooking. I was done football just because I didn't have my fit. And like I started at 6 different positions and played 9 as a true freshman coming out of high school. And I played a ton. And I remember back then, like I played against a guy who was 36 years old. Drove him home one day, and I love that guy. He was fantastic, but that just wasn't my fit, right? And everyone's got their own fit, and junior football helps you grow and mature, and hopefully you find that fit. And like, there's lots of high school guys who maybe you're playing linebacker, maybe you're playing guard, and but that's not your forever and your long term position. So junior football ends up being a great opportunity to develop in that position that you're going to play in the future. So I think some people miss the boat on it because there's a whole bunch of FOMO about going to university, And I'd say take a look at junior, take a look at your local program. If you don't have that right opportunity, reach out to me. We'll see. And honestly, like if I don't have the fit for a guy says, "Hey, Jamie, I want to be I don't know, astronaut." I'd be like, "I can't help you with that, but maybe I know someone that does." Um, yeah, I don't have the fit for everybody. I got lots of football opportunities, but it needs to be the right one so it can be successful. And then if you focus on a successful situation for every player, chances are we'll come close to getting it. Not always going to get it right, but um, yeah, this is about kids' journeys and how we can be a part of them and help move them forward and prepare them for their next best opportunity. And I as much as I'm not going to want to say goodbye to some of our players if it's too early, those ones that have those right opportunities, give them a handshake, give them a hug, and help get them off to their next place. And I think anyone who knows me knows that if they're looking to go play university, that they can reach out to me, and I'll do my best to help them too.
Yeah, no, that was a fantastic answer. So I did lie a little. I have one more question for you, but I think you'll like it. I guess why should we got about 5 minutes left. Why should players come to the Prince George Kodiaks?
Come here because we're different. We got a great community. We got a great fan base. It's a small enough town. It's big enough at the same time. But we don't fight traffic. It's 5 minutes here, 10 minutes there. Our stands are full. Our fans come watch our practice. But this is people in the room. I wish I could take every player that wants to come here, but it's about putting the right people together. And we're growing as a staff and we're growing as a football community here, and great things are happening. I think you see the growth in our year to year. I always wish it could happen sooner and faster, but this year is going to be exciting, and we're proud of the people that we're bringing in here. We're proud of the guys that we've recruited and the guys who put in the work to stay. So Prince George, you know what? I enjoy it. It reminds me of a prairie town. Reminds me of being in Saskatchewan. We got more trees. We do have bears. You'll see the odd moose. So, real neat community. And I think that's what really brought me and my family here. Is just the people, and that they want this to be successful too.
Perfect. Yeah, it was a very it was a great interview. So thanks for taking time out of your busy day. Glad we were finally able to get this done. I know we've been talking about it for a while. I think it lived up to the hype and probably exceeded it. So thanks for coming on and best of luck this season.
Yeah, thanks so much. Reach out anytime.